militancy, core-related killings and kidnappings, and boundary disputes in parts of Boki local government area, Cross River State. The Senate notes that Cross River State is a land blessed with scintillating tourism, large forest reserves, mineral resources, and numerous agricultural products. Further notes that Boki local government area of Cross River State, which is one of the largest LGAs in the state, boasts of large amounts of forest reserves and agricultural produce products such as palm oil, cocoa, yams, timber, amongst others, which are traded locally and internationally. Aware that in recent times, Boki local government area has been plagued by incessant coal activities, land and boundary disputes, and most recently kidnapping, which has claimed a good number of lives and destroyed properties. Also aware that on October 22, 2019, in Okondi community, Boki local government area, 4 young men were killed in what appeared to be a clash between these cultists and the community. Further aware that there is still crisis related to the way and manner the Boki oil palm estates are presently managed. Worried that more recently on November 23, 2019, 3 non-indigens who reside in Boje community, Boki local government area, were kidnapped at a farm. Further worried that the kidnap of these farmers caused suspicion between Boje community and 2 neighboring communities, namely in Sadob and Isobendege. This heightened tension led to full-blown inter-community war and the resultant loss of lives and wanton destruction of properties. This tragic state of affairs even attracted the attention of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, who immediately called for security intervention and restoration of peace in the area. Concerned at the peace and harmony, as well as the agricultural potency of Boki local government area, being landlords to 2 oil palm estates and a cocoa estate, is being threatened by the ceaseless and disturbing activities of these cultists. Further concerned that there may be more reprisal attacks by aggrieved parties if government does not move fast to quell the situation and restore peace and order in the warring communities. Accordingly, resolves to 1. Condemn the killings and destruction of properties in its totality in Boje, Sadop, Isobendege communities in particular, and Boki local government area at large, and prosecute the perpetrators immediately. 2. Observe a minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives in these disturbances and crises. 3. Urge the Cross River State government to effectively take over the Boki oil palm estates and delineate the inter-community boundaries accordingly. 4. Direct the Inspector General of Police to ensure better security of lives and property in Boki local government area and to immediately establish a mobile police barracks station in the headquarters of Boki local government area for easy deployment to trouble spots. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I rise to support the motion by Senator Professor Sandy Ono. Mr. President, disagreement remains a part of society. As most of the times, disagreements lead to crisis within a given people. But what is important is the management of such crisis. I rise therefore to make the following submission, which I think will help in many ways to stopping this crisis that we experience in most of our communities, especially what's happening in Cross River State. Mine will be to say that our traditional rulers need to be given more responsibilities to handle issues of this nature. Because every one of us here comes from a community. And we have natural way of governing ourselves even before the advent of the white man. We must return back to basics and give traditional rulers responsibility. Mr. President, if you may agree with me, that any time in Nigeria we invoke the police in settlement of disputes, such disputes will continue because it is not part of our culture. Anytime our parents go to court their children will continue to go to court for the rest of their lives because it's not part of our culture. I want us to adopt our culture in settlement of simple disputes of this nature. And that what calls for giving more responsibilities or a constitutional role to the traditional rulers of Nigeria, which is a bill that I intend to forward sometimes. And every community can govern themselves. And if we're able to give them such responsibility, this crisis will not come in, and they will find a way of settling their disputes. So I rise to support. And meanwhile, that this Senate do something for the affected families. That's also another way to begin to settle the disputes. If the National Assembly shows concern, or Nigeria shows concern, by helping them out, there will also be kind of calm in the area. Thank you, Mr. President.
And destruction of properties in its totality in Boje, in Sadop, Iso, Bendege, communities in particular, and Boki local government area at large, and arrest and prosecute the perpetrators immediately. Those in favor of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Observe a minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives in these disturbances and crises. Those in favor of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3. Urge the Cross River State government to effectively take over the Boki oil palm estates and delineate the inter-community boundaries accordingly. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And prayer 4, direct the Inspector General of Police to ensure better security of lives and property in Boki local government area and to immediately establish a mobile police barracks and stations in the headquarters of Boki local government area for easy deployment to troubled spots. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. Leader of the Senate.